All right, welcome back to No Commentary. Let's dive right in, shall we? Today, we're focusing on Saqib Mahmood, the young English fast bowler. You know, the one making waves in international cricket.
Definitely one to watch.
Yeah, big time. And with this India tour coming up, 5 T20 matches, 3 ODIs, that's massive. Huge opportunity, especially for a bowler like Mahmood.
You're absolutely right. This could be his chance to really shine on the international stage.
I mean, let's be real, playing India on their home turf, that's a whole other level of challenge.
Oh, for sure, a true trial by fire, especially for someone still relatively new to the scene.
Exactly. High stakes, huge pressure. But there's a bit of a snag, a twist in the tail, if you will. Mahmood's visa, well, it's stuck.
Ah, the dreaded visa issues.
Yeah, and because of the delay, he had to miss out on that pace bowling camp in Abu Dhabi. That was a big one. Training with the best of the best, guys like Jofra Archer, Mark Wood, even James Anderson was there, lending a hand.
Missing that kind of specialized training, especially in the lead up to a tour like this, it's a setback for sure.
It is, especially when you think about the specific challenges of bowling in Indian conditions.
Hmm.
You know, the wickets, the heat, the humidity, it's a whole different ballgame.
It's not just raw pace that matters there. It's about adapting, finding your rhythm, understanding how the ball behaves in that environment.
Right, like showing up for a test without studying the right material. And to make matters worse, this isn't the first time Mahmood has run into these visa problems with India. Back in 2019, he was supposed to tour with the England Lions, and, well, same story.
Oh, right. I'd forgotten about
Yeah,
that.
and it makes you think this pattern, it's not just Mahmood. We've seen other players of Pakistani heritage, guys like Shoaib Bashir, Usman Khawaja, facing similar delays when trying to enter India.
It's true, even getting the entire Pakistan squad and media into India for the World Cup last year, that was a logistical nightmare.
So it begs the question, is this just bad luck, a series of unfortunate coincidences, or is there something more systemic going on here?
Well, it's difficult to ignore the larger geopolitical context, right? The historical tensions between India and Pakistan, they cast a long shadow, and sadly, that often spills over into the sporting arena.
So you're saying Mahmood's Pakistani heritage, it's adding another layer of complexity to an already tricky situation.
It's definitely a factor. It makes you wonder, how often do individual athletes find themselves caught in the middle of these international relations?
It's a thought-provoking question, for sure.
Yeah.
We talk about the unifying power of sports, but cases like this, they're a reality check.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that politics and sports are often intertwined in ways we might not always see.
And speaking of reality checks, can you imagine the pressure Mahmood must be under? You're prepping for one of the biggest series of your career, and meanwhile, you're battling these bureaucratic hurdles, not even knowing if you'll make it to the first match.
It has to be a mental strain.
Yeah.
And the stakes are even higher this time around because this tour, it marks a new era for England's limited overs cricket. Brendan McCullum, he's taking over.
Ah, yes, McCullum, the Baz factor.
The very same. The Test head coach, known for his aggressive go-for-it approach, and now he's at the helm of the limited overs squad. That's huge.
That's a game changer. And for Mahmood, this is his chance to make a first impression on a coach who clearly values a certain style of cricket, a very attacking style.
A golden opportunity, no doubt. And let's not forget, Mahmood's coming in hot. Player of the series in the T20s against the West Indies just last November. That's momentum.
Oh, yeah, the guy's on fire. But instead of riding that wave into the India series, he's stuck waiting, wondering. It's frustrating. And it makes you wonder, how much will this mistraining actually impact his performance?
That's the big question, isn't it? Even if the visa comes through at the last minute, he'll be playing catch-up, trying to adjust to the conditions, find his rhythm, all on the fly.
Stepping off that plane, jet-lagged, no time to acclimatize, and then boom, facing that Indian batting lineup in front of a roaring home crowd.
A true baptism by fire. But you know, sometimes those pressure cooker situations, they forge the strongest steel. It'll be fascinating to see how he responds.
Absolutely. Will this be a stumbling block or a stepping stone? That's what we'll be digging into next. But first, let's take a closer look at Brendan McCullum and what his leadership could mean for this England team.
McCullum coming in, it's definitely shaken things up. A bit of a shakeup, you could say. He's not exactly known for playing it safe, is he?
Yeah, he's got that reputation, right? Bazball, they're calling it.
Exactly. And it's not just a catchy name. It's a whole philosophy, a way of approaching the game. It's about being bold, aggressive, taking risks.
Like he basically said, let's just throw out the old rule book and go all-out attack.
Yeah, pretty much. And, you know, that kind of approach, It could work wonders for a bowler like Mahmood. Remember McCullum himself? He was a batsman, an explosive one, always looking to dominate.
Oh yeah, he could definitely hit the ball.
He knows what it's like to be on that side, the one trying to dictate the terms, put the pressure on. So as a coach, he gets it. That mindset of wanting to take wickets to control the game.
So it's less about containing the batsmen, more about putting them on the back foot straight away.
Exactly. And think about Mahmood's strengths. The guy's got pace, obviously, but he's also got variations. He can swing the ball. He's shown he can outsmart batsmen.
So in this kind of setup, under McCullum's leadership, those skills, they become even more valuable.
Absolutely. In an attacking team where the captain's encouraging bowlers to take risks to go for wickets, that's where someone like Mahmood can thrive.
It's like imagine giving a really talented artist a huge canvas and saying, go wild, express yourself.
Perfect analogy. And if England really commit to this more aggressive style, they'll need bowlers who can deliver those breakthroughs. And Mahmood, he's shown he's got the potential.
So McCullum's arrival,
Yeah.
it could be the perfect timing for Mahmood to really make his mark.
It adds an extra layer of intrigue to the whole situation, that's for sure. We've got a young bowler, hungry to prove himself, a new coach with a bold vision, and this high-stakes series against one of the best teams in the world.
It's a recipe for some seriously exciting cricket. But hold on a sec. We've gotten so caught up in the McCullum and Mahmood storyline, we almost forgot about those visa delays.
Ugh, yes, back to reality.
Even if he makes it to India, those missed weeks of training, they can't be ignored.
No, you're right. Let's break that down. What exactly did he miss out on, and how could that impact his performance?
Because it wasn't just about practicing his bowling, right? It was
Yeah.
a whole training camp, a chance to acclimatize, to bond with the team.
It was. The pace bowling camp, it wasn't just about honing skills. It was about adapting to the conditions, the heat, the humidity, the wickets, building that camaraderie with the team, working out strategies with the coaches.
That's stuff you can't just replicate on your own in a gym somewhere.
Exactly. And let's not forget the jet lag factor, landing in India, already behind in your preparation, and then having to adjust to a whole new time zone, climate, everything.
It's like trying to run a marathon with weights strapped to your ankles.
Good one. It highlights how crucial that preparation is, both physically and mentally.
And on top of that, there's the pressure of performing at the highest level,
Yeah.
the expectations, the scrutiny. It all adds up.
It does. It's a testament to Mahmood's resilience, that despite all these hurdles, he's still pushing forward. He's not letting it get to him.
Yeah, that says a lot about his character. But let's be real, even with the best mindset in the world, missing that training, it's bound to have some impact.
Of course. It means he'll be playing catch-up, trying to adapt on the fly, find his rhythm within the team. That's no small feat, especially against a batting lineup as strong as India's.
So what do you think? What aspects of his bowling might be most affected by this lack of acclimatization?
Tough to say, but consistency, that might be a challenge. Without that time to adjust to the wickets, to fine-tune his variations, he might struggle to maintain his accuracy and control.
And T20 cricket, especially those little inconsistencies, they can be costly.
Absolutely. Every ball matters. And then there's the mental side of things, the pressure to perform, the weight of expectations, the added burden of catching up. It can all take a toll.
So it's like a domino effect.
No.
Missing training leads to inconsistencies, which leads to pressure, which then affects his performance.
Right, and it shows you how tight the margins are in professional cricket. Even the smallest setbacks can have ripple effects.
Makes you appreciate the dedication, the hard work that goes into performing at this level.
Yeah.
It's not just about talent, it's about the preparation, the mental game.
Couldn't agree more. And it raises an interesting question. Knowing what we know about Mahmood's situation, how do you think the England team will handle his inclusion in the playing 11?
Yeah, that's a good one. Will they ease him back in gently or throw him straight into the deep end, hoping he finds his form quickly? We'll explore that next.
It's a tough one for the England management, isn't it? Weighing up the options. Do they prioritize Mahmood's long-term development? Bring him back slowly, carefully? Or do they take a gamble? Throw him in at the deep end, hope he can find his form quickly?
Yeah, it's a tricky balance, for sure. On the one hand, you don't want to rush him back, risk making things worse. But then again, this series, it's such a valuable opportunity to gain experience against a top team, like India.
Exactly. And don't forget, it's not just the T20s. We've got those 3 ODIs as well. That longer format, it might actually suit Mahmood better. Give him more time to settle in, find his groove.
Yeah, you're right. The ODIs, they could be like a safety net almost.
Yeah.
A chance to build up his match fitness, his confidence, before diving back into those high-pressure T20s.
It's a good point. It could be a deliberate strategy, even using the ODIs as a sort of acclimatization period for Mahmood. Let him gradually get back into the swing of things without the immediate pressure of a must-win T20 match.
That would be pretty clever, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Managing his workload, his expectations. But let's not forget, even with a cautious approach, he's still going up against that Indian batting lineup. They're not exactly known for being easy on bowlers.
Oh, for sure. No room for complacency at this level.
Hmm.
But I think Mahmood's performance against the West Indies, that showed us something. He can handle the pressure. He's got the talent.
Yeah, that series, it was like a breakthrough for him. He was bowling with so much confidence, maturity. Do you think that can translate to the Indian conditions, even with all the setbacks he's faced?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Can he replicate that form on a different stage against a tougher opponent with less preparation?
Now, that's a deep dive in itself.
Hmm.
But, we've been so focused on the tactical side of things, the analysis, we haven't really touched on the human element of this whole situation.
Ah, good point. We often get caught up in the stats, the strategies. But at the end of the day, there's a person, a young man, trying to navigate a very complex situation.
Imagine the emotions he must be going through. The excitement of being selected for this tour, the frustration of the visa delays, the pressure to perform. It's a roller coaster.
It is a real test, both professionally and personally. And how he handles this, it'll shape not just his career, but his character as well.
It's a reminder that professional sport, it's not just about entertainment. It's a reflection of life itself. The highs, the lows, the moments of brilliance, the times of doubt.
And those stories, those glimpses behind the curtain, that's what makes these deep dives so fascinating. We're not just analyzing data, we're exploring the lives of these incredible athletes.
And in Saqib Mahmood's case, it's a story that's still being written. A story about resilience, about pursuing your dreams, about the unpredictable nature of, well, everything.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, we'll leave you with this thought. Keep an eye on Saqib Mahmood, not just for his bowling, but for what his journey can teach us about perseverance, adaptability, the power of facing challenges head on.
Because sometimes the most inspiring stories, they're not about perfect victories. They're about how individuals overcome adversity and come out stronger on the other side. And that's a message that resonates far beyond the cricket field, don't you think?
Absolutely.